Hi, my name is David Danzig. I am a PhD candidate at New York University's Institute for the Study of the Ancient World, studying the ancient Near East. I'm also the founder and director of Save Ancient Studies Alliance, or SASA.
Hi, my name is Valeria Subietalupo. I am a hydrologist, and my current research interest is the history of medicine during the second millennium BC. I did my PhD at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz, Germany, on cuneiform studies. I am also a team leader of SASA's research team.
All right, we're now sharing a screen. Over the past several years, I became acutely aware of the difficulties that ancient studies scholars face in finding employment and of the general decline in our fields in terms of participation, public stature, and funding. Due to my background in the nonprofit world, I believe we can work toward changing downward trend in ancient studies. To begin to do so, I founded the Save Ancient Studies Alliance in early 2020 by bringing together a group of graduate students and early career scholars from around the world. What is SASA? SASA works to reverse the current downward trend in the study of the ancient world, building a grassroots movement through outreach, collaboration, accessibility, and public scholarship. We work toward our goal of inspiring a wider, inclusive community of learners and students. We think that Asian studies has immense value, particularly as a gateway to an empathetic understanding of other cultures and people, past and present. Through our various projects, SASA successfully harnesses the public imagination and love for the ancient world, creating a rising tide of engagement and bringing together scholars, lifelong learners, young students, and enthusiasts from around the world. In particular, we work to reach and engage children and young adults of all ages in school and in their lives to activate interest in ancient studies and encourage further study. In our continuing efforts to reach a wider audience and develop a large base of activists, we have partnered with World History Encyclopedia, Digital Hammurabi, the Society of Biblical Literature, and the Society for Classical Studies.
What is the research team? So I think that we're all aware that in the past 20 years, there has been a slow but steady decline in the humanities. And as a scholar of ancient world, we know that this phenomenon has been, unfortunately, more accurate in our fields. The discussion about the decline in health of ancient studies has been particularly fueled by our experiences of the diminishing number of students, funding, and lack of institutional support, as well as by the struggles to maintain course offerings and sometimes even departments. However, this sense of the decline in ancient studies that we share is only supported by anecdotal evidence that we come across in our work lives. What is actually happening? Why is this happening? What has been done to forestall these developments? What could be done to improve these efforts? These are the questions that SASA's research team works to answer. Our team focuses on documenting the health of ancient studies, exploring internal and external causes for its decline, assessing the steps taken to counteract it by schools and organizations, and developing solutions to it. Our goal is to gather the data needed to fully comprehend this phenomenon, as well as to provide actionable tools that SASA and other ancient studies related organizations and individuals can use to work towards solutions. We are currently working on two big projects. One is documenting the downward trend, and the other one is developing solutions to address the problem. In this presentation, we will present our initial partial findings of research on documenting the downward trend.
Before continuing, we would like to thank and recognize the following individuals for their help in this research. Michele Gama Sosa of the University of Chicago, Zuzana Kofo, formerly of Nicholas Copernicus University in Turin, Poland, Julian Chang of Yale and US College, Singapore, Lena Kapp, formerly of Yale University, Daniel Sanchez Munoz of the University of Granada, Spain. In order to document the downward trend, covering all disciplines under the umbrella of ancient studies, we first created a broad definition of what we include as falling under the term ancient studies. The concept of ancient studies as encompassing a variety of academic disciplines is not yet widespread and accepted. SASA includes the disciplines shown in this slide within ancient studies. For our research, we identified 5 categories of indicators for the health of the fields, which are quantitative metrics related to academic participation in ancient studies. These are degree completion, language course enrollment, demographics, funding, and accessibility. To date, we have completed the analysis of the first two, particularly in the context of higher education in the United States. By examining the indicators, degree completion, and language course enrollment, we aim to find answers to various key questions regarding the health of ancient studies, including how many degrees and/or programs of ancient studies are actually offered, what type of ancient studies degrees are offered, what type of institutions offer ancient studies degrees and/or programs, how has the demand for ancient studies degrees changed over time, how broad-based is the interest in ancient studies course offerings.
In studying degree completion, we measured the number of students who have completed a degree in any ancient studies field at all levels of associate researchers, BA, MA, and PhD. This is one of the most fundamental indicators of the state of the field. For this category, we collected data from the National Science Foundation Online Data System, WebCapster, which gathers information from the US Department of Education, the Institute of Education Science, the National Center for Education Statistics, and Integrated Post-Secondary Data System, as well as data from the Humanities Indicators Project of the American Academy of Arts and Science. This data covered the years between 1997 to 2018. The bachelor's degree completions, these are our preliminary findings and trends. 27,009 bachelor degrees in disciplines of ancient studies were conferred in 2018 in the United States. The number might seem high, but it marks the sixth consecutive year of a decline and a significant reduction from 2012 at apex of 33.35, a difference of almost 30,000 awarded degrees. It is also the lowest number since the beginning of the records, which dates back to 1997. This is in contrast with the trend observed before 2013. From 2002 to 2012, there has been a steady growth, which, according to the findings of the Humanities Indicators Project, is in line with almost every discipline in the humanities. We chose to show two potential trend lines for the future of the bachelor degrees in ancient studies. The green line shows a very optimistic increase by 2030, while the predictions of the red line confirms the reality that we have been experiencing in the past 3 years. Nevertheless, the truth is that in the next 2 years, we will probably see a further decrease in the number of students, and this without taking into consideration the catastrophic impact that this pandemic might have brought into our fields.
Similarly to the trends seen with the awarded baccalaureate degrees, we observe an important increase in the number of completed master's degrees from 2002 to 2012. However, the decrease that follows is not as pronounced as the one observed in the BA degrees. At the same time, after 2016, we noticed an encouraging slight increase in master's degrees. Once again, we display two potential projections of the future trends for master's degrees in ancient studies. The increase observed in the orange projection would probably be the most likely scenario for the number of masters in ancient studies that are expected to be awarded in the future. However, taking into account the number of departments of ancient studies that have disappeared since 2018 and the effects of the pandemic, we might instead observe a moderate decrease in the following years. Once the data from 2019 through 2021 will be available in the coming years, it will be interesting to observe which one of the two projections will be confirmed. The trend in completions of doctoral degrees generally follows the same trajectory as the number for master's degrees. A significant difference with other degree levels, that is, with BAs and MAs, is that we see a decline from 2001 through 2007, followed by an increase that reaches its maximum in 2014. This increase in the number of awarded doctoral degrees stopped in 2014 and then experienced a steady decline for the following 3 years until 2017. From this point on, the number of new doctoral degrees awarded annually seems to start rising again, although we still do not have available data for the years from 2018 onwards. It is interesting to observe that the number of doctoral degrees completions seems not to be affected by the declining trends in the lower level degrees. Nonetheless, we believe it is reasonable to expect the decrease in lower degrees to be mirrored in the PhD completions in the future, since the pool of qualified doctoral applicants will be substantially lower. Our analysis of this data shows several trends. By using statistical projections based on the past evidence, as well as the certain limiting conditions we expect that will hold true, we are able to give predictions of the future trend. In the past 2 decades, we have seen an increasing decline, a limited recovery, and a further marked decline in ancient studies. In recent years, a continuing drop in the number of students completing degrees in ancient studies bodes poorly for the future of these disciplines.
The category language course enrollment provides information about the number and demographic of students who enroll in language courses. This data is segmented into underclassmen, upperclassmen, and graduate students. We chose to investigate this indicator because it provides a portrait of interest in ancient studies through the progress of students' educational careers. Since introductory language courses are commonly taught primarily to freshmen and sophomores, we have a view of interest at the beginning of a student's studies. We can then trace the continued interest in ancient studies by students taking minor and majors as they take higher level language courses, which we expect to better parallel the degree completion data. For this category, we gather information from the language enrollment database of the Modern Language Association, which covers the years 1958 to 2016. The MLA 2019 report on language course enrollments in higher education revealed a continued drop in overall languages enrollment since 2006. Apart from major world languages such as Korean, Chinese, and Japanese, which enjoy modest gains, the vast majority of languages have lost students in American schools as universities drop languages requirements or allow students to place out of them with AP credits. The general decline in enrollments is evident in ancient languages as well. The most recent MLA survey going back to 2006 shows that in the 10 years period between 2006 and 2016, language enrollments among the major ancient languages, including Latin, Ancient Greek, Sanskrit, and Aramaic drop, while the less studied languages lack enough data to show accurate trends. These include Akkadian, Hittite, Luwian, Ugaritic, and Egyptian.
In sum, our research has evidentiated the downward trend in ancient studies via the two indicators we have studied thus far. The downward trend already began in the early 2000s, but was interrupted by the economic recession in 2008, which led to higher collegiate enrollment across all fields of study. Consequently, the years 2008 through 2013 show a rise. However, from 2013 and on, the downward trend in ancient studies continues. Our statistically based future projections show the continuation of the downward trend. However, we do expect there to be two mitigating factors that will prevent the complete collapse of ancient studies fields. These are expected continued participation in ancient studies by religious schools and by elite schools. As our research continues, we will investigate the three other indicators and expand to a worldwide perspective. We will construct a database for ongoing monitoring of the health of ancient studies, which will be publicly available. Beyond just describing the state of ancient studies, we are also working on finding solutions to this problem. This will take the form of research on the current ways in which ancient studies and the humanities are promoted, and our creation of a marketing package, which we will disseminate to university departments and ancient studies organizations. We are also applying to foundations for financial support for this project. Finally, before we go, if you found this presentation compelling, we would like to ask you to take action. We are currently running a survey on entry paths into ancient studies, and I encourage you to take the survey at saveancientstudies.org/survey. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.